Hello, Gwen. Welcome to my podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much again. So, let's start from what do you do?
I am a content creation strategist. So I help busy entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and business owners to create more content for more platforms with less effort.
Impressive, amazing. Must be a very busy work, right? You must be busy all the time. Wow. Tell me.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. I've met a lot of amazing business owners, and I think that's one of their biggest struggles is how to create enough content so that they're not weighted by the content creation, but they are reaching their audience consistently. So I step in and give them a great strategy that fits in their own life and their business.
And you have fun. Fantastic.
Oh yeah.
And who do you help specifically in terms of age or female or male?
Right. Yeah. So I help service providers and coaches, people who are doing one-on-one with people. So you're taking on clients and you're doing done for you services, or you're taking on one-on-one clients. In those cases, most people that run a business like that don't have a lot of time to market their business because they're taking on clients. So I help the people who are really running a business like that, and I help them to have continuous leads, and it can be male or female.
Yes.
But I definitely resonate more with females who have family at home, because that was my struggle. Is I have two non-school age kids, and I'm running a business full time, and my biggest struggle in my business, which I love my business, but my biggest struggle was really keeping up with content creation. So I had to find a strategy that really worked for me.
Wonderful. I totally understand, and I'm with you because this we get to a point like we need to run our business, we need to create content, we need to take care of our families, and it's not easy. But there we go. That's why we have people like you. Woo. Helping us out, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And do you have any specific demographic places, like in terms of demographic?
In terms of location,
Yes,
or
location
yeah,
wise.
no, I have people from all over. I have clients from all over the world who work with me, and again, it's a problem that I think is universal for service providers. In fact,
Correct.
I found that the people that struggle with it the most are the service providers that help with content, actually. So, like, their social media managers or virtual assistants, and they know all the things they should be doing, but doing it for themselves is very difficult because clients are paying them. They're getting paid to do something, and content doesn't pay immediately. There's not an immediate return on investment of time. So
Yeah.
really, anyone in the world that is struggling with content creation and fitting that into their real life, and actually reaching an audience continuously. So
That's great. And you got a YouTube page. What do you teach there on your YouTube? Or
I do. So I actually post consistently to 5 different platforms, and
awesome.
YouTube is one of them. YouTube is my main platform because I came from a very large tech channel I left in 2017 to start my business, but I've been on YouTube since 2012, and I was the host for a large tech channel. They have 600,000
Oh wow.
views and 50 million. I'm sorry, 50 million views and 600,000 subscribers. And I loved doing that work, but it wasn't my channel. I hosted for them.
Yeah.
I was the content, creator for them. But it wasn't my business. So I left and I started my own channel. And now I obviously YouTube is my favorite because I started on YouTube, and I teach people YouTube and Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and how to repurpose that from blog posts and podcast, all that stuff. So
Oh, wow, impressive. Wow. And you came up with how did you came up because with all these things you're saying on YouTube you also probably you teach people around your 5-point blueprint for content creation, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a 5-point blueprint for content creation that took me a lot of trial and error. So I'll just tell you my story and how I really came up with that blueprint. Is as a service provider and with 2 kids at home, I had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old. And so I had 2 kids at home that were not school age, and I had no childcare. So my content creation was very, very difficult because my time was very low on when I could work on my business. It was nap times, it was nighttime, it was, when I could, when they were able to sit still and watch a show. And then that time really went to the clients who were paying me. And I had some wonderful clients and I adored doing that. But again, when it came to my own content creation, I was making YouTube videos. And since I came from a really large channel, I put a lot of pressure on myself to make great videos with great equipment and great editing. And the reality of that just didn't fit into my life. With how I was taking on clients and my kids at home. So it would take me, weeks to make a video, and then I'd have to turn around and make another one, and it just was not sustainable.
Yeah.
And so I got to the point where I decided to just focus on my clients, and I had a wonderful client base, and I stopped creating content altogether for 6 months. It was just too much to do. And I had deaths in the family that I had to go to funerals. And it's just like, it felt like life was just happening to me a little too much. And I couldn't keep up with my content creation. So something had to give. Obviously, I wasn't going to give up my clients.
Wow.
So I just focused on my clients. All of a sudden, a few months down the line, I lost my biggest client. She just couldn't afford working with me anymore. And that was close to $3,000 a month client. And I was at this place where I hadn't created content in months, and nobody really knew of me other than the clients who were already working with me. And so I had to go back to the drawing board of introducing myself again to people and making sure people knew who I was and find new leads for my company. And I realized that I could never get to that place again where I wasn't consistently posting and offering value to my audience. So I had to come up with a plan that worked in my life. And so I came up with a 5-point strategy that really works in my life. And now I'm able to post consistently to 5 platforms with only 2 hours a month of work.
Oh, wow. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Wow, sister, tell me about it. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I teach it in my academy that I offer. But basically, it's the 5 points are organization, outsourcing, repurposing, batching, and accountability. And I also I have a program that I'll talk about at the end about how I'm able to plan all my topics. And I do all that in one day for an entire year of topics. So I have gotten to the point where I am extremely efficient with my content creation because it is so important. However, it shouldn't be the thing that is taking up the most time in my business. And I had to learn that, how to do that. It was a lot of trial and error. And I finally found a system that really worked with me. And I found that when I only do one, when I only repurpose, I end up running out of content, right? Because you're repurposing old content. Or if I only batch, then I end up, running out of ideas. And so it really was a combination of all these things that made it work together to where now I can continually post with very minimal effort. And I'm all over the place and I'm getting leads in my sleep and even sales while I'm sleeping. So it's a pretty great strategy that has worked for me. But like I said, it was a lot of trial and error. And now that I've perfected it, I just can't keep it to myself. I love telling people about how they can simplify their content creation.
Fascinating. Wow. I'm like, yes, I totally get it because I've been trying a lot of stuff, but I know exactly what you mean. But how long took you to come to this point? Because I know you left your other company, the platform on YouTube, and then you start yours, and then you had all these struggles and understanding. But When you say 2 hours,
Yeah, so I was in business for about 2 years by the point that I lost that big client, and I had to make up $3,000 a month that I had lost, and I had no leads for new clients because I was really happy with the clients that I had, and I had no more room to take on another client, so I just wasn't promoting my business at all. And when I had stopped, I was still with that client, and then by the point from stopping my content creation to actually starting again, it was about a little over 6 months. I hadn't posted anything. I archived my private Facebook group. I had stopped posting on my YouTube. My Instagram was kind of a joke. There was nothing there. So, it was about 6 months. I hadn't posted anything, any content. So
it's unbelievable in these days, right? If someone tells me not posting for 6 months, but there we are. You came with a bigger thing, and it's working.
Right. Yeah. I kind of had to go through that rough patch of the struggle. And I remember I cried so hard because I made I batched a bunch of videos for my YouTube channel. And it took me so long to do it because of, I had to, film, and then I had to edit or whatever. And I didn't immediately upload them to my channel, and I kept them on a hard drive, and the hard drive broke, and I lost everything I had created. And I cried so hard because I was like, this isn't going to work. I can't fit this into my life. How am I going to keep getting leads if I can't put content out there or something valuable for people to discover me? And looking back on that now, I realized that was really important for me to go through so that I could have this, relatable experience and show people like, I know the struggle, and that is still so fresh in my mind, how painful it was trying to keep up with my content creation and my business and my family. So I definitely, I understand that struggle, and I hope anyone that I run into, that they know that they're not alone. Like content creation should not be this hard.
Yes.
And while it's super important, it shouldn't be the only thing, the thing that's taking up the most time in your business. Right.
That's so true. Thank you so much. Your story is amazing. Wow. I'm like, yes. And then you said that you have you're going to talk, you said, I'm going to talk about this later on, but it's about your annual plan, because annual plans, sometimes people tend to do it on the beginning of the year, or is there any particular time that you think we should start, or?
Sure. Yeah. So the annual plan is meant to be started at any point in the year. Yeah. I created it just in case there's someone who decided, in July that they've spent 6 months posting daily or creating a post daily, and they're starting to run out of ideas and they're not being strategic with their ideas.
Yes.
So I created it to be able to be started at any point in the year. You don't have to start right in January or December to plan the next year. However, that's how I do it, because I plan my content around my business goals. And so if you have some goals that are coming up in the next 9 months before the end of the year, then I hope that your content is supporting those goals. And so the very first part of the course is really leading you through your content goals. So what are your goals for vanity metrics and the stuff that doesn't necessarily matter for growth. But, we all have those numbers. I want to grow my podcast by this much. I want to have this many followers on Instagram and blah, blah, blah. Yes. Those are great. That's like the first thing that I lead you through, but they're not as necessary as your goals for engagement, your goals for authority in a certain hashtag or niche. So I lead you through those goals and the importance of those goals. And then I lead you through the business goals and what are your goals for launching a product or a service or whatever the case may be. Amazing. And you kind of put that on a calendar and you see a bird's eye view of your whole business. And then you're able to create content that makes sense around your next launch or your next offer. Amazing. Or your next big interview or whatever the case may be. When you're able to add excitement to that and you're strategic about it, you can have content that is 4 months or I'm sorry, 4 weeks or 6 weeks in advance to whenever that is happening, which is going to lead to a great runway where people are getting really excited about your product before it's even offered. So by the time you offer a new product, they're like, hey, take my money, because you've done a good job of giving them value in that area, right?
Yeah. So you got your content it gets ready like 6 months in advance or 6 weeks or I don't know, depends maybe I don't know really what to.
So how I do it is
Yeah.
I have an entire year of content
Ready.
themes planned out. So each month I have a different theme, and each I drop a new video on my channel.
Oh, okay.
So all my themes are planned out for the month, and then I have 4 to 5 topics for each month that are already planned out. And I know exactly what the purpose of that video is. Sometimes the purpose is for engagement. Sometimes the purpose is to get more people into my email list. Sometimes the purpose is to sell something. But each video has a specific purpose and strategy that I have planned out, and I do that in advance. So I have the entire year planned out. And then it is created 3 months in advance. So I have 3 months worth of content that is ready to drip release. So because of my strategy, I could have an emergency with my children, or I could take vacation, or I could just disappear for 3 months and my content would still go out and my audience would never know the difference.
Unbelievable. Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's what I want.
Well, and that was, again, out of necessity. Like I just was living post to post. Like I would sit down at Facebook and I would say, I gotta post something today, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say that's going to make a difference in my business or make a difference to my audience. And I was tired of that struggle. I would waste so much time trying to figure out what to say. So the annual plan, I, again, plan out my entire year of content around, my business goals and my content goals, and I never have to struggle with what to say, and all my content is talking about the same message at the same time. So even though I'm all over the place with different platforms, I'm on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, I'm emailing my list, I'm on IGTV. Even though I'm all over the place, my message is the same throughout. So my audience that finds me on YouTube and then decides to come follow me on Instagram, I'm talking about the same thing. My message is still the same. If they resonated with the message there, they're going to resonate with the message over on Instagram. And it's going to be an easier way to develop a relationship with them to where they're going to know, like, and trust me faster. So it was really important to me because at the time I was like, I only had 3 platforms. I had Facebook group and YouTube, and I had, a very meager email list. And my Instagram was barely posting anything. So when I was trying to do that, I'd go to Facebook and I'd say, I can't say the same thing that I said in my YouTube video. I don't want to repeat myself. I want to make sure I'm adding value to everyone, but I was actually hurting my business by doing that because I wasn't keeping my message strong throughout the month.
Totally understand. I agree.
So I had to really learn that lesson, and my leads have been so much stronger, and because of having a message that was strong throughout.
Amazing. Thank you so much, because I see myself on this situation, because I do for my own business. I create the posts in different platforms, but thank God, I'm so glad that you said that. It's good to create because people get to know us in a different platforms, but the same way, sending the same message. But I'm not creating yet. I'm going to say yet. I'm not doing yet for the year in advance, but that's my aim. I will get there.
Yeah, it's easier than you think. Like I said, I do it in just an afternoon. I just take an afternoon in December and I plan out my entire year. So it shouldn't take you longer than that. And my course was made with, less than 10-minute videos just so that you could get through it quickly, because anyone who comes to my programs, they don't have time. I know they don't have time. I know that struggle. So they don't have time to sit in front of the computer and take my course for 30 minutes at a time. And I realized that. So I tried to make everything that I create for people efficient time-wise. So
Awesome. Because myself, when I say I haven't created for a year in a row, is because the platforms I'm using, I believe, because they don't give me the access, because otherwise I would plan, I would sit down and I would do it. Because I don't know your strategy, your way of like you showing this to explain to your clients when they go through your course how to do it, but you give them a platform as well to work on, or how they do.
yeah, absolutely. So I teach people that the beginning strategy should really be that you pick one type of content to really focus on, and it should be long form content. So for you, that's podcast, right? For me, that's YouTube. It can be either recorded video, podcast, or blog post. Sometimes live video can be your strategy as well if they are pretty in depth and you plan on doing them weekly.
All right.
But other than that, so that makes things like LinkedIn or Instagram not really great strategies to start with because you can't really break those up into smaller pieces. So starting with a long form piece of content and then repurposing them appropriately to other platforms. And there is a right way and a wrong way to repurpose. You can't just dump a piece of content onto another platform and expect to grow on that other platform.
Okay.
So, taking the care to actually respect the platform's algorithm and the audience on that other platform so that it is purposeful and you actually do grow on those, splash zone platforms.
Oh, but there is how I say, when I say platform, I'm trying to say like a place where you can schedule your posts.
Oh, yeah. I talk about that in my course as well, because there's so many. And even in creating my course, I discovered more that I didn't even know existed. There's so many options out there.
Yes.
And I think it's depends on what your splash zone is. When I say splash zone, those are the platforms that you're repurposing to. So for me, I repurpose to Facebook and Instagram from YouTube. So I really like using Creator Studio because it is it's built into Facebook. And that means the algorithm on Facebook and Instagram really like it coming from there instead of somewhere like Buffer. And it's free. It's something that everyone already has if you have a Facebook. Yeah. So I really like that platform. However, if you are planning on repurposing to something like Pinterest with your blog post or whatever, obviously that's not going to work for you. You're going to need something like Tailwind. And Tailwind can do Instagram as well. So it really depends on where you plan on repurposing. There's amazing. Really no right answer for everyone.
So you said the Facebook iCreation, right? The name? What's the
Creator
name?
Studio.
Oh, Creator Studio. So this platform on Facebook it will post a schedule. We will be able to schedule, and we also can post on Instagram.
Yep, you can schedule 6 months in advance.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you listening, my listeners? This is amazing.
And everyone has this. If you have a Facebook and you just go to the top where you can search names or you can search groups, just type in Creator Studio in the search and it will pop up, and you just go in there and you can post to either a Facebook page, a Facebook group, or your Instagram.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Gwen. Amazing. We're learning. That's what I love podcast, because we're always learning with my guests. Amazing. Wonderful. I feel magic. In the air. So the last question I've got for you, my dear, how can people find you?
Awesome. Yeah. So I am all over the place as Simplified Content. So on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, my email, everything is Simplified Content. My website is simplifiedcontent.com. So I would recommend, if you want to have, more, just in-depth conversations with me or just a connection with me, I really am always in my Instagram. So my Instagram is the only thing that I do daily because I am in my stories. Now, my posts to my feed are done pretty far in advance, and they come out because they've been scheduled in Creator Studio. But I am always in communication with my audience on my stories. So if you want to start a conversation with me, I love DMs. So find me on Instagram, or find me on Facebook, or even YouTube. And I have a lot of free, awesome tutorials on YouTube about content creation as well. So
fabulous. What about your promotion? You got a promotion to tell to my listeners today about your...
Yeah, so I touched on it before. The annual plan is going to help you plan out a year of content in advance. Again, you can start any time of the year. So if you are feeling right now like you are struggling to figure out what to post, and it's taking too much time, and you never want to sit there in front of a computer screen or your phone trying to figure out what you should post about that's going to be strategic in your business and your content goals, then I encourage you to check out the annual plan. So that's simplifycontent.com/the annual plan. And that's going to help you in less than a day be able to plan out an entire year of content, ideas, and topics that are strategic around your business goals.
Spectacular. Woo. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Yes. And all the information about Gwen, it will be on my podcast description for her podcast on the 20. We're going to go live on 20 of March, if I'm not saying the wrong date. But yes, during March, she will be live on my podcast, Entrepreneur Talks podcast. And all information will be there. And get in touch. Join, download this annual plan like me. I will do it. And don't forget about Facebook, because that was a big tip for today for me. Thank you so much, Gwen.
You're welcome.
So
thank you.
Amazing time I had with you. Thank you I hope my listeners enjoyed as well. And I speak with you soon again, I'm sure. Take care.
Yes, thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back to Entrepreneur Talks podcast. Season 1 episode will be written on the information of this podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook by Womenflix and Entrepreneur Talks podcast. Feel free to drop a message if you would like to be our guest, if you would like to get our services, and if you would like to share your vision. Womenflix, Yola Bastos, and I hope you enjoy our session today. Okay, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for listening our podcast session today. If you would like to come back and listen again, you can find us on Anchor, you can find us on Spotify, you can find us on Apple iTunes. You can also go through our pages on Facebook or Instagram, and they will be there. Follow us, share, and leave your comments if you feel like. We would love to know more what you think about the podcast, and if you would like to be our guest, or if you are willing to create your own business, or struggling, or just want to pump, a jump, a change in your life. Okay, speak with you soon. Take care. Bye. See you next week.